Today is a good day because we are having an interesting testimony. The testimony comes after 13 years of waiting, and we are discussing secondary infertility. We are in Mukono, and I have an amazing couple, Mr. and Mrs. Andiku Benjamin, with his wife, Endezo Gitres, and they have an interesting story, having to wait for 13 years to have another child or a set of children or more than a set. We are yet to hear from them. You can greet our viewer and then we begin.
Hi viewers, I greet you all in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. We're happy that we're here to testify of the goodness of the Lord.
Hi viewers, I'm very grateful to be us at this time and this moment. We thank God for that day.
We last met when you came to the hospital.
Yes.
And when you delivered your babies.
Yeah.
How was that day? What do you remember? You can start from Endezo.
It was a bit challenging when I reached because I started feeling the labor pain from home. So when I reached at the hospital, said the labor pain was there, and the good part of it that we were welcomed warmly, and then the nurses also welcomed us and welcomed me, and then they had to arrest that pain, which was so much.
I love the wording. They had to arrest the pain.
Yeah. After arresting the pain, at least the pain went down.
And the rest followed.
The rest followed.
Mr. Benjamin,
Yes.
the labor pains, what do you remember? Because sometimes they say even men feel labor pains. I don't want to remember that.
Yes. Actually, the pains didn't start that very day went. The pain started a little bit earlier, before that day. Then it moved on. The first date somehow stopped, subsided. Then that last night, I remember the pains came back. And this time, they were a little severe. But what crossed my mind was we needed to act immediately. So I told her, it was around 5 when I woke up, I told her, please, we need to move. So she got up and we prepared. And then we had to travel. And what was crossing my mind was nothing but fear. It was fear, though I could not express it. Humanly, I had to pretend to be strong because I needed to stand by her side. And one good thing is when I reached there, the reception and the environment alone was so welcoming that you tend to forget your fears because everybody was welcoming, and the reception was so soothing that however much the pain was, you got that relief, and I got that relief that all will be well. But of course, you can't run away from the fact that those episodes keep coming of fear.
And that's all. I understand you had waited for 13 years
Yes,
after
please.
having had 2 children before, but then these come after 13 years. Just tell us what you went through those 13 years, socially, emotionally, maybe physically and medically, but we can begin with socially. You waited for quite so long. What were you encountering, especially with your community, relatives, and close friends?
You know, being a woman, having children, we say it is a blessing from God. So when I had actually I used to call him the last born, like over 5 years. Then I'm like, am I going to stop there? Then I'm like, no, as a woman, I didn't tell him. I started thinking about, I'm like, how will his relatives see me only remaining with two, having only 2 children? So deep inside me, I'm like, no. Because in the other hand, even friends alone, they'll be asking, what has happened? Your, your baby has grown. What has happened? So somehow it tortures deep inside. Not even only friends, even some of the relatives. So like, the child has reached 5 years, 6 years. What is going on? So somehow I feel that pain, and because the truth is, I don't know whether it's because it is in our culture. We've stayed with him for over, I think it's coming to 20 years, and he paid dowry fully. So you to remaining with 2 kids, for him it was okay for him, but for me, as a woman, it kept on, disturbing me. I'm like,
So whenever they would ask you those kind of, you know, disturbing questions, how would you respond and what would you think of these kind of people who are close to
yeah, when they ask what I used to tell them, I say, everything comes from God because I'm not the creator. The only person who creates is God, and He's the one who's given. So I've waited for all this time. If there's nothing, then that's okay. Though I say that, but deep inside, it hurts me. That's when I start, I'm like, no, I'm going to move around. At least, even if I get one baby, I'll be very grateful.
So before you actually started to move around, I want you to take me through your emotions after being asked for many years, and then now you are alone, say in your bedroom. What will be running in your mind?
The first thing I used to ask myself now, what could be the problem? What could have stopped me from getting another pregnancy? Then I was like, maybe, could it be maybe someone has bewitched me? Then I'm like, what could it be? Because for us in our clan, like, if you've not satisfied the woman's relatives, I think, I don't know whether it is almost everywhere. And when the home people, they talk bad, you may not conceive. So I thought maybe, could it be that? So I had to go to my parents' house. And then I told them. Actually, the first person who observed was my mom. Then asking me, Gertrude, what could be the problem? That child is already 6 years. What is the problem? Then I told Mom, I don't know. I don't know whether someone bewitched me or I don't know what. So psychologically, I was really tortured. So my mom told me, no, this gentleman paid everything. For us, we are praying for you to get another pregnancy. Unless maybe it is someone's what? Witch. But for us as the parents, we wish you well. Yeah.
Okay, do you remember any time using concentration with your wife, maybe at home, just because of the length of toll it was taking on you?
Yeah, that is very true because, like, at times when you are with friends, the friend you are having has already 2, 3, 4 children. Choka, you are the first one to begin giving birth, and then others already having 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I was deep inside. I was worried, and I'm like, now, what could it be? Actually, psychologically, I was tortured deep inside me. So mostly I was like, no, could it be someone who is doing something bad to me? Because I could see my friends, you know, they deliver after like 3 years. You see someone is again expecting. But for me, when my last born was already 6 years, 7, nothing was seen. So generally, I was a bit disturbed when I see my friends.
Okay, Mr. Andiku,
Yes,
at what
please.
point did you notice that she was actually getting mentally disturbed by the issue at hand then?
Before I'll give you that, let me tell you something. Just as she took you through the issues she'll find, the questions that will cross her mind, even people directly asking her, the relatives. My relatives equally asked her one time, and they kept asking these questions. They'll ask us, what is wrong with you people? If your parents did the same, would you be probably one of the children that they gave birth to? Then others will tell us, actually they will blame her and say, because she's maybe comfortable and doesn't want to lose her figure, she has gone for contraceptives, family planning. That's why we chose to stop at 2. Then they'll say, you people, you who educated, you think you don't need to give birth to many children. Then I'll tell her, no, don't blame any one of us. We've done none of these things you're talking about. And she's not to be blamed because she has done none of these. This is a plan of God. Then I ask them, how about those people that don't have children at all? What will they say? Shall we blame every circumstance for they are not giving birth? And they're happily living, good enough, we already have 2. What should we complain for? And I will notice, once in a while, I'll notice that she's actually depressed. Though she will not tell me why, there are times when I'll realize that actually some of these things are disturbing her. There are some instances when she'll ask, why me? What have I done wrong? Why can't I conceive? I've done everything. I don't see any problem that could stop me. Then I'll tell her, do you know what? This is plan of God. We did not even know that we'll have these 2. We already have the 2. Whatever comes our way, whatever God has planned for, we need to appreciate. We need to be thankful that He has at least given us the 2, because there are those that have tried, they have done everything, but they've not got any chance. So we need to be thankful. So each time I'll see her depressed, there was a time she'll even sob, especially when we are 2 and such things cross her mind, especially when we travel to my place and people, the aunties tend to ask those questions. She'll really get broken when we come back. But I thank God for one thing. My mom, because both our fathers passed on, but we have our mothers. Then my sisters. The good thing, they never confronted her about that. Because even my sister, my elder sister, she gave birth to only 2 children. And these are girls. Maybe she could be wanting a boy. But she gave birth to 2 and she's comfortable. And at least I think for her, she understands that these things, you might not personally plan to have them that way, but this could be God's plan or natural cause. So true, like you asked, those scenarios, Like when we'll go and people ask her, at times she'll come and get broken down. But my advice will be one, that everything is to the good of God. He knows why, and at least He has given us, He has blessed us already with the two. We need to appreciate that. He has a reason for why He has chosen to bless us with the two and not more than that. So we've been moving, and when she got to understand, she will accept and life moves on. And not at one time that we got loggerheads because we are not conceiving. We understood ourselves when it came to that line and we moved on.
As a couple.
Yeah.
Unlike other incidences where you see most men actually leave their spouses in the battle alone. So that brings me to my next question. You had very many questions from the society and within your own selves. So at what point or in which year did you start to seek answers to those questions that you are not getting explained? Get rest maybe. When did you start thinking of getting answers? How much you can?
That is when my son is already 6 to 7 years. Then, though I didn't tell Mister, but deep inside me, I'm like, no, I need to get one child, be it a girl or a boy, at least one. I want to surprise him. So I tried to move to other hospitals, but I could not tell him. Then later on, time came when I moved to another hospital. That's when they asked me to do dirty tests, the one I told you, from Kampala Imaging Center. And then when the gynecologist told me that they will have to do for me washout, and it was costing
Washing
the tube. It is a procedure. So that's when I came and I told him.
So when you went for a scan, what did they tell you about your tubes?
When I did the scan, they were saying the left hand tube is okay, but the right hand tube has a problem of blockage. So the doctor said the only way to remove that blockage is by flushing. So we did the first flush. I stayed like for 3 months. There was nothing I was seeing. Then I went back to her. They did the second one. Actually, they did it like for 4 times. So after 4 times, still it was the same. There was no, I could not conceive. Then deep inside me, I'm like, now, why am I wasting this money? Then from there, I stopped everything. I could not think of going anywhere. I'm like, maybe that is what God has organized for me.
So meanwhile, you hadn't told the Mister about...
I told him when already they had asked me to do that procedure of wash out because it was costly. Because the first one, I paid the money. Then the second, the third, the fourth, she was the one who gave me the money.
And what were you thinking when she said, let's do what the doctors have told you? What did you think?
Actually, I kept telling her, why would you insist? If God has not allowed, we are simply wasting money. Actually, what I was telling her, these things are costly and this is a waste of time. Once the time has not come, you'll be wasting time. Then I kept comforting her that, please, just accept what we already have. Because then you might do all this and still fail to succeed. And you'll begin regretting your money that you already spent. So why don't you accept and live by that?
And why didn't you accept and live by that anyway?
Indeed, at first when he talked about that, because I saw the money which we spent, then completely I'm like, now let me stop there. So I took like over again 3 years. Then later on, That's when I got, actually not yet the friend. There was a program I was watching. I don't know which station, radio station. I mean TV station. So the doctor was actually teaching about talking about women who have failed to conceive. Was talking about secondary infertility, primary infertility. Then I'm like, yeah, but then he talked a lot. He's like, you people, some of the women, you go to witch doctors. Why are you spending that money to witch doctors? For us, we do A, B, C, D, and you will get what you want. Instead of pouring that money to witch doctors, why can't you bring this money to us, and then we shall treat you and you get what you want? So when I watched that program, I didn't get exactly, because by the time I started watching the program, it had already started. So I didn't know exactly which hospital I did. So now I was like, now which hospital is that? And I didn't again tell him, not until I have a sister. She's a head teacher in Bugazi. Had a friend. That friend, I think she was also a very elderly lady. And also failed to conceive. I think for her she used to conceive, but deliverance, the baby dies like that. So that lady, I think, went there, women's hospital. And then she was treated. She got her baby. And that lady was a friend to my sister. So when my sister went and the lady told her her story, and then my sister saw the baby. Of course, already my sister had known how I've been moving, because I used to tell her. And then she came and told me, "Gefes, do you know what? There is a place in Bukoto. The place is called Women's Hospital. I have a friend. She's also a teacher. She had also failed to what? She used to conceive, but at the birth, the babies died." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Then she told me that the baby now she got, because she went to Women's Hospital, she has the baby. Actually, she brought for me the picture of the baby. I'm like, "No, I have to, you take me to that woman's place. I want to go and talk to that lady." So that is the time of the second COVID. That lady teaches at Aga Khan, the primary. So one time she called her, we made a program. She said, "I have a sister, she wants to come and see you, and she wants to hear your story. And if possible, she wants you to take her to the hospital." Then we arranged that day. We went there, she took me there, I met the lady, she narrated me everything. That very day, I told her, "Let's go there."
Oh.
I didn't come home and I did not tell him. So we went to the hospital.
Why didn't you tell him?
Because I know if
Because
I'm
he
going to
knows I
tell him,
wouldn't.
he's not going to accept.
Okay.
Because already we are spending, a lot of money. And he was saying, "Why are you, still continuing, doing something which God has not what? We have these two children." One time even he told me, "Do you see me demanding for a child?" So that word alone, so I could do my things quietly. So when we went, the lady took us up to Kampala Hospital.
Up to that
To that very hospital. I said, "I need to talk to the doctor."
Which year was that?
That was last year,
2021.
2021.
Okay.
2021, yes. Yeah, 2021. So the first doctor I met was Dr. Joseph Banenge. He was so good. He welcomed me. Of course, going there, you're already stressed. Though the lady had already told me everything, I even seen the baby, but still I'm like, no. You never know, I might go there again, also fail to get what I want. Because already that picture, the first picture I got from Mengo, But still, I went there. So when I met Dr. Joseph, he welcomed me. And then I told him, Doctor, the reason why I have come, but I told him I'm a bit stressed. Tell me the truth. Then he went through with the procedures, what they are supposed to do there and how much it is supposed to be. Then I said, okay. Then he told me, what you are going to do, you are going to see the big man, Dr. Sal. You talk about the cost, because already he had taken me through. Then I said, it is okay. So they made for me an appointment. I came back home. I didn't even tell him anything. I was doing my things now quietly. I kept quiet. So the day of appointment, I went. So they took me to Dr. Sal. We sat. Then he asked me, he said, you woman, what do you want? He asked me, where are you coming from? I said, from Mukono. And then he said, you want a baby? I said, yes. He asked me, do you have children? I said, yeah, I have two. Then he said, why do you need more? I said, I just like children. Then he laughed. Then, of course, he asked me. Now, of course, already what we have discussed with Dr. Joseph, he had already told me the cost. And I told Dr. Joseph, please, I don't have that money.
So you came to the hospital without money? Or you just wanted to see whether actually things are done?
I had gone without money, but I wanted to see how things are done and what is needed. So, so the time I'd gone to meet Dr. Sally, already Dr. Joseph had already spoken to. Because the moment when I reached like this, he asked, where are you coming from? Mukono. You are the lady, Dr. Joseph told me. I said yes. So we sat, we talked about the cost. So when we were agreed, then he told me, but people from Mukono, you people have money. I said, please, me, I don't have money. Then he looked at me, he says, fine, you bring this amount, then I think I will take you as a testimony patient. But then we were with Maggie, the receptionist. So I came back to Dr. Joseph. Then I narrated to him what I've got from Dr. Sally. Then he told me, before we do anything, first go for scan. We opened the file, and then I went to scan. So I brought the result to him. He says, everything in your womb is okay. It doesn't have any problem. Neither fibroids, what, nothing. Your womb is okay. Me, I'm advising you to go ahead. You never know God who brought you here. You will get what you want. So that's when I came back home. I did not even tell him. I looked for some money. Again, I sneaked back without his notes.
You sneaked back to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
So the cost, we had agreed with Dr. Saleh, it's what I paid. So from there, when he says, he told the Maggie to take me to the lady who is concerned about testimony. And then he also signed in my file, testimony patient. So I started from there.
So at what point did you now involve him? Because you did your things undercover. With, of course, the obvious reasons.
So now, when Dr. Sally had told me that I'm going to take you as what? As a testimony. Of course, now the lady she took me to, already he had explained to me what a testimony patient it means. Then I'm like, God, this I've got what? Let me say, I've got favor. I am going to go through this process. So I'm like, now this time I should not do what? I should not hide. Now I need to be open to him. So one night, I told him, I got the receipt. I said, there's a friend of mine, the very story I narrated to you. My sister took me, she also got a baby from women's hospital. So I went there, I paid, the receipt is here. I want to begin, he did not say anything.
What ran in your mind when she came and showed you a receipt? After, I wouldn't say discouraging her, but after feeling like what you had was enough. At that point when she saw the receipt, why did you react, or how did you react?
There are certain things I feel silence and time answers. And when she told me that, I was imagining the debates that had been there before, and then now she has shown me she has already paid. So there was nothing I would say either, why would you have to spend this money? And then when she told me she had seen the evidence of what she's going for, and I said, I think at this time, I should not sound negative. Now at this time, it's a time of saying, come what may. It is a point of no return, no retreat. So I just accepted and silently took it on just like that. And what I was now imagining was, finally, probably this was God doing his things. Because from nowhere, someone saying, I went, and instead of paying that amount, you're going to be a testimony patient and all that, especially when she explained to me the costs that should actually have been the actual cost. And I said, probably this is God. This is something that you could not humanly imagine could happen. So I had to give it a benefit of the doubt.
Briefly, you got treatment and got pregnant.
Yeah.
Just take us briefly about that journey of the so many months you are pregnant up to the date of delivery, the sicknesses, the challenges, maybe the joys, because this came after 13 years of no pregnancy.
True. So when they did the transfers of the babies, and then they gave me 2 weeks to go back to check whether I'm pregnant or not. So after 2 weeks, I went there only to check, and I was told I'm pregnant. I was very, very happy, something which I could not believe, because I had tried for very many times. So when they told me I was very pregnant, I was so happy. And then they told me to keep on coming for checkup after every 2 weeks. So whenever I could go there after every 2 weeks, actually what made me so happy is whenever I go there, they will do scan for free. They will give me medications for free. And then when the pregnancy was 2 months, when I went back, they found that there was some blood on the fetus. So what they did, they had to put me on treatment of that medicine, which I don't know. Because of a distance, they gave me the drugs that I should get a nearby clinic. Then I should keep on going there to get the treatment. It was for 2 weeks, injectables. So they injected me for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, then I went back. Only again to put me back on scan. They found everything was okay. So when it clocked 3 months, then that's when they told me, now you are going to do what? You are going to begin antenatal. And actually, within the 2 weeks after the transfer, when I came back, they told me they have seen 3 babies. deep inside me, I was like, can it be true? And is it possible? So though they told me I could not believe it, though inside me I could not believe, but physically, I'm like, okay. But I kept on asking myself, me who has been trying these things for several times, and I didn't get, and this time I get 3 babies. So later, after 2 weeks, they kept on, whenever after 2 weeks when I go there, they would check, they say, yes, the baby's okay, the baby's okay. So I was very grateful, I was very happy. So when the pregnancy clocked 3 months, then they told me they are going to register me for an antenatal.
At what point did you tell him that you're actually carrying 3?
Actually, immediately when they told me that I'm carrying 3 babies, I came home because I was very happy. I told him. This time I didn't hesitate to tell him. And when I told him, he just said, okay, that was it.
What was running in your mind that now you're going to have 3 babies?
You see, when she told me at once, because when she told me, I began imagining the stories of homes where we'll see a woman giving birth to 3 and then the man running away. So I was imagining now with these 3, what is going to happen of
Why are you
me?
looking at now your exits? That's what I'm imagining.
I was looking at that Lord that was now coming home. Then another thing that was coming to me was the possibility of her carrying the 3 babies to the end. And then I was also looking at scenarios where the say has given birth to 3, but 1 has survived, 2 have survived. All these things were in my mind. But when she told me, I just said, okay. But throughout the night, when I wake up, they'll come to my mind. But what I thank God for is I told myself that I will not be taken up by stress. I will not accept stress to overpower me.
Yeah, because I mean, while she looked at a band of an unexpected band of joy, you looked on the other side of life, which are both realities, and that makes us human.
Yes.
Okay.
But somehow I was also now saying, fine, because there were times when these children, especially our last born, he's very open-minded. He speaks. There was a time when he asked the mother, Mommy, why can't I have a sister? So there was a time I lived with him when Guru, when he would go to school, he would come back and say, Daddy, I have a sister at school. So when I heard that, I said, maybe God has answered his question. Yeah. So I had to accept it.
So you also had, however much you are looking at the other negative realities of life, again on the other side you are looking at light, more light.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so Beatrice, after the 3 months, now we are looking at maybe 6 or less.
Yeah.
What were the challenges and the joys you experienced in that period?
Generally, I didn't have any challenge because actually from 2 months when they checked that there was some blood and then they gave me that injections. When I went back, they said everything's okay. Until delivery, I didn't have neither malaria, neither any other complications I didn't have. Because whenever I could go to the hospital, they will check, they say the baby is okay, the babies are like this. Because the time reached, of course, when they could put me in scan and I could even see my babies. The only thing what I was just having is only joy. Because, and I really even thank God so much because it has never happened to get pregnant. You don't even spit, you've not got malaria, neither any other complications. Everything went on okay, smoothly. But the other hand, I used to have some fear because the very some mothers whom they did transfer for the babies, we are around the 20 something. Of course, at that time, we had to exchange telephone numbers to communicate. How are you? Did you succeed? ABCD. So later on, then some could call. Some could call, say the pregnancy I had already have got what miscarriage. The babies have come out. Then it's sort of you hear a friend calls. I have a problem. I'm on the medication throughout every day. They are getting injection. So deep inside me, I'm like, I only used to pray to God. I'm like, God, if you gave me these babies with one heart, please keep for me this baby. So because I could now feel, I'm like, now I love the other friend has lost the pregnancy. The next, could it be me? So only I used to have that fear. But again, God took me through up to the end. I didn't have anything like that miscarriage was. So that was the joy. But the challenges, no.
Mr. Andiku, how did
Yes.
you feel when you first held your triplets?
It was joy. And why it was joy, after operation, actually, we took a long time before seeing them. And then finally, when I received them, I was filled with joy. I was actually grateful. First of all, to God, because the journey was not simple. The journey of, especially now during that pregnancy time, and then to delivery time, the challenges that were there during the operations, the babies, and all that. Now, by the time they handed the baby to us, I was filled with joy. Maybe it's my nature that I don't yell with joy like other people do. I keep it inside of me, but inside of me, I was filled with joy. Inside, I was thankful to God. I was thankful to the staff of the hospital. Because each time you go, any person you meet, unlike other hospitals, I'm sorry, let me put a disclaimer. That is my own analysis. That you'll find everyone asking you, feeling concerned and also feeling happy for you, for the achievement you've got, and everybody is playing well, and that alone sent a lot of joy in my heart.
Beatrice, how did you feel, holding your triplets?
For sure, I don't know how I can express. I was overwhelmed because the joy, I could look behind the years I spent without a baby. And also the money also I spent outside. I'm like, now, I wish I knew this place before. I wouldn't, the money I spent from outside, I would have spent the money from here. So I was very happy when I had the babies. The joy was really too much. But I thanked so much God. I also thanked Dr. Sally. I actually, the whole team, I thanked Dr. Joseph because he was there besides me. When I would have some doubts, I would go to him and he will advise me, he will counsel me. The nurses, and then also, I don't know whether she's a doctor, it's Dr. Anne, the Muyindi lady who did the transfer. Sister Anne. I'm very grateful, really, because he did it and God really, I don't know what he did, and it just, I got it as she did it. I don't know how to explain it. I got
So
what
here
I
you are
wanted.
holding 3 babies.
Yes.
Then what was running in your mind about those people who are sending negative vibes to you before you actually got pregnant for your 3 kids?
You know, actually, even when I was pregnant, already I was, people who used to ask, and those, the good part of it that we were born in a Christian family. But the first thing actually, when they told me I have 3 babies, then I could pray, like maybe even at around the 3 a.m. I said, God, I've forgiven to all those people who talked what they did. So for me, by the time even I was holding the babies, I'd already forgiven all people who talked their words. Actually, I call it their words. And I was very happy. Then this time I said, God has answered my prayers. That was it. It was only joy. And up to today, for me, I've forgiven them what they talk. Some people, they talk because they don't understand. They don't know what they're talking. So for me, I have forgiven them a long time ago. And I'm very happy with my babies. And I'm very happy with my family.
Interesting. Benjamin, tell
Yes.
me about the feeding. 3 babies.
Ah.
How has the feeding been?
The feeding has not been easy. There are times when I imagine these kids are going to sleep hungry because you reach a point where you don't see the money that's going to buy the milk. But by the grace of God, as you're moving around, you find yourself getting money. Not that you pick it by the roadside, but you find someone telling you, hey, congratulations, this is the baby's milk. You find you are moving on, and up to now, we are thankful that these kids have never gone hungry because it is quite costly feeding them, but God is providing. I know one thing, when God gives, He will always provide. He will always make a way where there seems to be no way. And that's one thing we always believe in. And I think God took her to that hospital because He had a purpose. He knew where the right people are that will make a mark in the life, in the history of our family.
I want you to look straight in that camera and send a message to a couple or to a woman struggling with infertility. Tell them something because you have walked through it.
One is trust in God, that nothing is impossible. With God, everything is possible. 2, trust yourself. And then 3, know where you are going. And then also, not giving birth for some time, it doesn't mean that is the end. So long as you know the right place to go. And my advice to you outside there, I moved to other places, still I was failing. But when I get to know Women's Hospital, indeed I got what I wanted. God blessed me with all what I wanted. So I'm advising the couples outside there, don't lose hope. Please, you go to Kampala, you go to Women's Hospital Bukoto. They are our answers. Actually, they are, I call them that they are God's servants. These are God's servants. God sent them to us to help us, to get us out from the sorrows or the frustrations we have. So please, in case of anything, you have the same problem I've been going through, please, my advice, you visit Women's Hospital Bukoto. They are very friendly. The doctors, the nurses, the whole team, they are very friendly. And with God, you will get all what you want. And I thank so much all the workers of Women's Hospital for the heart they saw to us, because some of us, we wouldn't manage if we were to say we follow the procedures, but still some of the things we see that they are hard. Still in Kampala hospitals, things happens. Women's Hospital, things happen. Where you think you may not manage it, but in a Women's Hospital, things are possible.
Mr. Andiku,
Yes, please.
I would like you to comment on your wife's resilience. When almost all hope was gone, she kept on moving until she got what both of you wanted. Look straight into that camera and comment on her resilience and send a message to a couple that could perhaps be struggling to get babies like you were.
Yeah, one, I want to say thank you to our Creator God. The couples out there, I know there are those that could have been in our position. They could have gone through what we, the two of us, have gone through, my wife and I. But I want to tell you, like my wife said, there's nothing that's beyond God's ability. One, we need to push, because the word push in itself is pray until something happens. You need to push and push on until you get what you want. Three, my wife's resilience taught me one thing that I would want to share with you, that in amidst all the things, when you cling on what you want and you know what you want, and you are not shaken by whatever wind that blows that could shake you, words of people, what people think about you, and you keep trusting God, you always overcome all these things. And like she said, you don't need to move here and there. There are pieces of advice people give you. You take the advice, but the decision entirely depends on you. Because at the end of the day, it is you who will reap what you have sown. Initially, when she kept moving places, different hospitals, at times clinics, my feeling was she was actually wasting time. By this time, thank God that she landed finally on the right place. And I'm so thankful to God that our prayer was answered. Her prayer was answered. Her resilience paid her at the end. And at the end of it, we are all benefiting and enjoying the fruit of her resilience. My friend out there, when you're resilient, you'll definitely reap the fruits of your resilience, especially when you finally make the right decision at the right place. I thank Dr. Sally with the entire team, right up to the lowest person, the cleaner, because what I saw there was actually love of God, agape love.
You have heard, you have seen Mr. and Mrs. Andiku's testimony about the eluding gift of a child and yet got children at the end of the day. You know, infertility is a disease, and their testimony confirms that a disease of the male and female reproductive systems. So if you are a couple or you know of a couple that is struggling with infertility, just come to Women's Hospital International and Fertility Center. We are located in Bukoto in Kampala. We shall make your families complete. We always have testimonies, and it's our pleasure that you learn, you share information with others, because our dream, our joy is to see you holding babies that you are looking for. We are not only in Uganda, we have satellite branches in Dar es Salaam, in Lusaka, and we are still growing. So if you have many questions, many concerns, many challenges concerning infertility or fertility, just reach out to us. We shall help you and make your families complete.